Hey everybody, it's Corey from Thought Soldiers. So it is the Taurus full moon, night of the Taurus full moon on November 12th, 2019. And there's some stuff coming to the surface right now, and I wanted to discuss it a little bit as it's coming up for me and it's being processed. And the topic here is safety and how it is fundamental as being a cornerstone towards growth, towards personal wellness, as well as enlightenment. It is the foundation of the support and the hierarchy that we seek. It is the base, the foundation towards the growth that we all need in order to really be able to go within and to really learn more about ourselves and stepping into the self-actualization process, which is just learning all about ourselves. And so safety, when I'm talking about safety, what is it? It's gonna vary for different people, but we look at our foundational needs, our basic needs that we need on a day-to-day basis. So what are our needs? 3 hots and a cot. So, healthy meals, a place to rest our head, a place where we can actually breathe. When we are dealing with root issues, root chakra issues, and we're dealing with safety, this is where we tend to disconnect. A lot of people will disconnect and not live in body when they aren't feeling safe because, it seems like, at least for me in my journey, when I was out of body or I was disconnected or ungrounded, I was able to escape. If we think of the disconnect, it is an escapism from our reality because we don't feel comfortable in our body. Well, what lands us in unsafe scenarios? And it's that we didn't listen to our intuition. We neglected our discernment. What is discernment? Discernment is being able to feel if something is ethically or morally out of sync with your ethics and morals. It's a vibrational frequency. It's essentially when things are out of alignment, you feel the discord. And since we are not used to, or let's say some people, as there are some people who have been tapped into their emotions their entire life, a lot of people feel a discordant frequency and will feel it and will associate it with fear, feeling unsafe, out of alignment. It's something that the only way to be able to characterize this frequency is by grasping a hold of a word to associate with that feeling. So it might be anxiety. Anxiety is a fight or flight response. It's essentially a survival technique. And so if you're in fight or flight mode and you are having recurring thoughts of this, you're going to start attracting it more into your reality and thus making you feel more unsafe. So how do we get into a zone of feeling safe after going through very hard trauma, if that's something that you've dealt with, or you've just landed yourself in these circumstances where everything was completely out of alignment? Well, you learn to use your discernment by going within. You ask right now to yourself if you're, and this dialogue is something that has to start at some point in time if you want to be able to find where it is that you feel safe, where you feel supported. And this dialogue is simply by bringing your inner child forth and asking them what they need and not judging it. It's unconditionally listening to that voice, letting it speak, and then following that guidance. Now, there's a moment where we might not follow the guidance or we might not like what we hear. And why is that? It's because our view of safety has been ego-driven. It has been so out of alignment that we can end up landing ourselves in circumstances or scenarios where we feel completely unsafe, and it's because we're letting the ego run the show. Now, the idea is to not judge yourself if you land in a scenario where you're feeling unsafe again. And this is where you can do the system of checks and balances, especially if you've been doing the work. Is it an old trauma that's coming to the surface? Am I reliving something right now that needs to be cleared? Is the collective going through something and I happen to hold that imprint still and I'm helping to shed it and shift it? Or did I really land myself in another environment where I'm feeling unsafe? And to create that dialogue from within, it takes an opening up process and creating that conversation with the inner child, or creating that conversation with self, with the true self, not the ego self, not the shattered self. And that requires bringing consciousness into body. And so if you can have a moment to be able to find a safe place for yourself, to be able to quiet the noise and go within and start the self-actualization process, you can start to discover what your wants and what your needs are, and the foundation of what is going to make you feel safe. Are you in loving relationships? Do you feel like if you fall, the people around you are going to catch you? Do you feel like if your entire external reality came crumbling down tomorrow, that you are going to be supported? This is essential to overall wellness and the enlightenment process, and really figuring out who you are at a soul level. Because then you get the opportunity to get out of the fight or flight mode and you can get into the breathe mode, the breathe and be mode, the two B's, be and breathe. And through that, you can start to quiet the noise and really go within and listen. And then you start to learn, what is it, who am I? This is where the question starts. Who am I? And it starts this unraveling journey of figuring out who you are. What are the things that are in alignment with you? What things are out of alignment? Because what happens is you start to sharpen your intuition, you start to sharpen your discernment, you can start to say yes to things you normally would, that normally felt like they were within resonance and they probably weren't. And you'll land there and you'll feel it in your body. You'll feel the tension, and it's your body signaling a response to you that, hey, something here is out of alignment. Okay, well, how can I bring it into alignment? Is it out of date right now? Or is it my perspective? Am I seeing things skewed? Am I living a trauma pattern? Am I reliving a scenario right now? There's so many factors to it. And 9 times out of 10, when you're feeling that, the best thing to do is to just take that break, walk away, take a deep breath and go, what's going on here? And really try to figure out if it's just something out of alignment or if it's something popping to the surface. So like for me today, I had a lot of safety stuff coming up. Old wounds being revealed, old traumas popping up. And I've had to ask myself, what is this? Well, let's look at today. We got a full moon. This Taurus full moon all has to do with safety and security. Everything that is coming to the surface is safety, security, financial abundance. It's all in alignment with what these energies are providing. So then I know, that the energies right now are calling for this clearing, but also too, this level of safety too is because I'm not in 100% alignment. There's something within my purpose that I'm not following 100%. And when I'm not following my purpose 100%, I'm not feeling fulfilled. So then there's that gap, and I start to look at other things, other reasons why I'm feeling that way. And it's got nothing to do with anything in the external. Everything else is but a symptom of the internal condition. And it's because I know that there's more that I could be doing in my purpose right now, to be able to align and feel fulfilled and feel whole and feel abundant. So it's not a problem. I don't have to fix anything. I just have to embody more of my higher self and embody more of that inner child and focus on that self-love and giving myself that sense of safety. How do I do that? By going within and figuring out what those needs are, what those wants are, and then fulfilling them and not judging what they are. Because the idea is that when we start to step into this path, we become, the super conscious where everything's soul level, everything is, some of us do this, where it's soul level, it's this working on self, the healing, the programming, the so on and so forth. What we fail to recognize is that the body plays an important factor in this. The temporal form, the you, is what needs that support, not the soul. The soul already knows everything. The soul has already mastered these lessons. The soul is a reflection of source. So how do we bring that into body? We bring that into body by not judging what the body needs, what the emotions need, what the mind needs, what our basic essentials are in this form. We don't judge it. What we do is we allow that process to happen and unravel it in its own time, and we allow room for the soul to enter. We allow room for the consciousness to come and to anchor in, and then we ignite that light body and we become that enlightened being. And then once we harness that light within, we radiate it outward. So if you are feeling unsafe in any one of your environments, it's probably because there's a little detour you needed to go on to get some important lessons. And that discord that I felt within, and that fear and that anxiety from the old stuff in my life that I went to, That was my soul letting me know it's time to get back on track. Those emotional responses that we feel within our body are signals, clues, triggers, signposts to knock us out. It's basically saying, get out of here. So why don't we listen to that signpost? Because we've been neglecting ourselves for so long. If you see a sign, if you're walking down a road and you see a sign that says do not enter, but you choose to enter, you have to recognize that there are consequences for that action. So this is where we listen to those signposts, which is our intuition, our knowing, the feeling within our body that this isn't somewhere I'm supposed to go. Using my discernment by reading that sign, I know it's telling me stay out. So why do I keep walking in there? Well, that's all dependent upon you. That is all completely dependent upon you. But the idea is that when we get our morals and our ethics and our values in line, and we sharpen that tool of discernment, and we sharpen our intuition, we quickly know what is for us and what isn't for us. Where are we meant to be on our journey, and where is it out of alignment? Where are we not meant to be? But here's what's interesting. Wherever you're at is where you're meant to be. There is a divine orchestration behind all of this. So if you are feeling unsafe right now, it's probably because there's an important lesson that you're learning about yourself that you need to go through in order to get back into alignment. These detours and these paths that we go on are essential because there's a lot of growth and strengthening that happens there. So the thing is to check in and to know, okay, yep, I'm feeling something here. Then quickly step into what are the action steps I can take towards correcting this path or correcting this mindset or whatever it may be. It's going to be individual for you. But recognizing that we need to feel safe in order to expand. We need to feel safe in order to go within. We need to feel safe in our body to give ourselves the opportunity to come into our body. Because when we are in our body, we are now having a human experience. So quick on my journey have I been like, oh, I want to, reach enlightenment, and I'm traveling up into the astrals, but I forget that I was a spirit that projected down into this form to have this experience. It's integral for me to have this experience as a human. We see so many superconscious beings that have reached enlightenment, and a lot of us will go and we'll go, I want to be there. So then we just zoom out of body and start living in the astrals. Well, that is a beautiful time too. There's so much that we can learn up here, but it's about grounding that into here, into our reality, coming back into body and being a human and having the human experience. That is why this earth realm exists. It's a very unique experience. We come down into this density to grow, to learn, to love, to grow as a spirit. So then when we get to the next phase and we ascend, we go to the next level. And so this is why it's important to have the human experience, but we need to feel safe. Plain and simple. Because when you provide yourself the opportunity to step into safety, you are now providing a potentiality for another person to step into safety. So this is where we do that checks and balances and start to look at where do I not feel safe in my relationships? Where am I not comfortable speaking my truth? In my family, where am I not allowed to completely be myself? In my job, where do I have to overstrain myself and overgive myself? At what point during the day in my day-to-day basis do I have to leave body because I don't want to be in body? The idea is when we're having the human experience, we want to be in body. We want to be in our body. We want to live that experience in our body and to own it and to love our body. And that doesn't mean just your physical body. It means your mental body, your emotional body, your spiritual body, all four bodies combined into the one, integrated, merged, and aligned. So safety is the key here. You want to be able to have all of your needs met. You want to feel supported. That's what's going to open up the root chakra, and that's what's going to help you to feel that abundance. That's what's going to help you to want to be here on earth, is landing yourself in safety. What's very interesting, though, that's been happening on my journey recently, is there is a level of comfort in unsafe environments for people because there could be an addiction to the chaos. This is not everyone. This is some of us. That we grew up with discord, and so we feel comfort in the discord. So how do we find comfort in the ease? It takes practice. We have to step into practicing and embodying ease in order to learn to love it. And there's a lot of moments where it gets really quiet and I go, oh no, I'm supposed to, it's kind of like hitting the oh shit button and like, I need to be doing something because right now, if I'm not doing anything, I'm going to fall apart. Because there used to be a pattern for me where my safety was threatened if I wasn't doing something. And so now that we're stepping in this fifth dimensional experience and we're healing our traumas and we're starting to find safety in relationships and find comfort and feeling relaxed, it can be a little scary, especially when you start to open up your heart more and you start to find people you can be safe around, because you're afraid of you want to be only so vulnerable. Sometimes I was completely closed off. I didn't want to be vulnerable at all, but I started with practice. I started to open up more and more. And as the petals started to open more and more and more, I would get to this level of vulnerability, the oh shit handle would come on and I would close up. And so I had to learn and I had to practice that it's okay and do affirmations. I'm safe, I'm supported, I am loved here. Because once I broke those patterns and I integrated that wisdom from the old life, from the stuff, the side tracks that I needed to divinely go on to grow as spirit and to learn more about my wants and my needs and to do more of my work, which was helping others and shining my light in very dark situations. When I landed myself in environments where I was finally able to feel safe, it was difficult to open up. And that's something that I found tonight was, I've opened up so much and I'm continually opening up, but there's those moments where I go, oh shit, like what if? And I start playing the what ifs, that negative thought loop of what if, what if, what if, what if. And what that is the programming escaping my body. It is the trauma leaving my body, because this just got downloaded to me right now. I don't know what I'm like without all of that. I don't know what the person is in purity. I don't know what the person is with full soul embodiment. I don't know who I am without those excuses to be who I am, because those scripts, those narratives defined a large part of my life and a large part of my story that gave me strength and gave me courage and gave me hope and gave me this awesome story that I can share. So what am I with those wounds finally healed? I no longer have an excuse. I no longer have an excuse, because for so long, those traumas were the reasons why I didn't do certain things and why I didn't conquer my fears, why I didn't land in certain environments. That was the reason. It was an excuse. And so now that those programs are leaving, I don't feel safe because I don't know who I am without attaching to those traumas. But that's where the beauty lies. The beauty lies in the unknown of the blessings that are going to come from stripping this stuff out of my field and letting go of it. That's where the beauty lies, is in really finding safety. And so if you're struggling this with right now or in general with seeking safety, the idea is to find a place wherever you can to just be able to quiet the external noise for a little bit and go within and ask. Pull out a pen and paper and start writing. Do whatever you can towards really embracing that inner child and that creative aspect that wants to come out and wants to talk. Because basically, all of these moments that I've had on my journey have basically landed me to where, I have all these things around me and everything gets stripped away. Well, it's always led me back to one thing, and that is a quiet room with me and my inner child in order to have a proper discussion towards listening more. Anytime everything gets stripped out of my reality, or I'm forced in isolation, or I'm even, with getting sick or, physical body pains that land me stagnant, it's because the universe had to go to drastic measures to get me into silence and in reflection. So remember that you can actually but you can skip the painful learning lessons by taking a few minutes each and every single day to just listen to yourself. Honor what your inner child wants, honor what you want at a soul level, and then taking those guided action steps towards providing those fills and needs. Because once you start to fill yourself up with that and you start to fully embody your inner child or your higher self, whatever we want to call it, the best version of you, the highest version of you, you're going to start to feel safe because you're using your discernment to make sure you don't land in environments where you're not going to feel safe. Lesson learned, wisdom gained, pattern broken. You no longer have to live with that. Contract, null and void. It is out of here. You no longer have to deal with that. So this is why I think safety is the foundation for enlightenment. It is the foundation for self-actualization. It is the foundation for the best version of yourself. And so today ask yourself, what can I do towards feeling safe? What can I do towards landing myself in environments where I feel safe? And when you land in the environment where you start to feel safe, what can I do to open up fully and to allow the experience to break me open to a level and degree in which I could finally expand into the best version of myself? And being able to sit with that uncomfortability, being able to sit with that quiet time, and to sit with the mind to slow everything down for a few moments and to create that dialogue. And it's difficult at first, and it's difficult to start opening up to people. But this is part of the unified experience. This is part of the unity that we seek in the unconditional love, is there are people out there that want to love you unconditionally and want to be there for you and want to support you. Are you open to receiving those people? And are you open to the growth and the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself by allowing these people to love you unconditionally? The answer is in your court, but now you got something to think about. What can I do? And a lot of this is just letting go and allowing the universe to bring these gifts to you, and allowing yourself to be open to receiving the love that you choose, the love that you desire, the love that you want, through integration, through harmony, through healing, through balance, and through this ascension process, and why we're all doing this work, so we can all come together, we can release all the veils of programming and contrast that keeps us separated, and we can finally come together and love each other in unity. So anyways, much love and respect to everybody out in the Webverse. I love you all. Thank you so much for your continued support. And with that, I will see you on the other side. Namaste.